Today we continue to listen Anattalakkhana Sutta. First, we have to recite the Anattalakkhana Sutta Pali. Open your book, page 115. Can you follow me? Evam me suttam ekam samayam bhagava varanasiyam viharati isi patane migadaye tatarako bhagava pinjavekiye bhikkhu amandesi bhikkhavoti padandeti te bhikkhu bhagavato pijasoso bhagava etatavajam rupam bhikkhave nattam rupinja idam bhikkhave atta abhavisam naidam rupam avadaya samviteya labetacha rupe evo me rupam hotu evo me rupam mahositi yasamaja ko bhikkhave rupanattam tasma rupam abadaya samvitati nacha lavati rupe evo me rupam hotu evo me rupam mahositi vedana bhikkhave nattam vedana jahidam bhikkhave atta abhavisam naidam vedana avadaya samviteyam labetacha vedanaya evo me vedana hotu evo me vedana mahositi yasamaja ko bhikkhave vedana nattam tasma vedana avadaya samvitati nacha lavati vedanaya evo me vedana hotu evo me vedana mahositi. Okay, we recite together slowly. Evo me suttam ekam samayam bhagava varanasiyam viharati isi patane migadaye tatarako bhagava pinjavekiye bhikkhu amandesi bhikkhavoti Padante ti te bhikkhu Bhagavato pija so so Bhagava itatawo cha Rupam bhikkhave natta Rupija idam bhikkhave atta bhavisa Naidam rupa abadaya samviteya Labetacha rupe Ome rupam hotu Me rupam mahositi Yasamacha ko bhikkhave rupa natta Tasama rupa abadaya samvitati Nacha lavati rupe Me rupam hotu rupam mahositi Vedana bhikkhave natta Vena chaidam bhikkhave atta bhavisa Naida vedana vadaya samviteya Labetacha vedanaya Evo me vedana hotu Evo me vedana mahositi Yadamacha ko bhikkhave vedana natta Tasma vedana vadaya samvitati Nacha lavati vedanaya Evo me vedana hotu Evo me vedana mahositi. Translation. Can you follow me? Thus have I heard at one time the Blessed One was residing at the dear sanctuary of Isipatana near the town of Varanasi. Then the Blessed One addressed the group of 5 monks. Here, monks, they replied thus, Yes, Venerable Sir, the Blessed One said this, Monks, Rupa, the material body, is not safe. Soul or living entity. Monks, if body was safe, it would not tend to afflict or distress. And it would also possible to say, let my body be thus. Let my body not be thus. Monks, in fact, body is not safe. Since it is not safe, it tends to afflict and distress, and it is not possible to say of body, let it be thus. Let it not be thus. Monks, with enough feeling, is not safe. Soul or living entity. Monks, if feeling was safe, it would not tend to afflict or distress, and it would also be possible to say, Let my feeling be thus. Let my feeling not be thus. Monks, in fact, feeling is not safe. Since it is not safe, it tends to afflict and distress, and it is not possible to say of feeling, let it be thus, let it not be thus. So doctrine of anatta is very important teaching of the Buddha. It is only found in Buddhism. So this doctrine of anatta makes Buddhism unique among religions, because almost all other major religions believe in the opposite of the doctrine of anatta. This doctrine of anatta is a central doctrine in the teaching of the Buddha. So it is important that we understand anatta first in theory, and then we must understand anatta through the practice of vipassana, continuous meditation. So if you want to understand anatta, do practice meditation continuously. Anatta can be revealed. The meanings of anatta, we know that anatta means not atta. So in the commentaries, it is explained as meaning not being the core of anything, or not having a core, or not being susceptible to the exercise of power. At least we can say there are two meanings or two interpretations to understand here. Not atta means no core, or having no core, and it means also we cannot have power over this. So when the Buddha said rupa or material corporality is not anatta, he meant that rupa or corporality is not a core, or it is not substantial. And also Buddha meant that corporality is the one over which we cannot have power. Although both interpretation, that is being no core or having no core, are accepted by our teachers, being no core is more appropriate in the teacher. If we say rupa or corporality is anatta because it has no core, and then we can argue rupa has no core, but there must be a core somewhere. Only rupa does not possess that core, that kinds of argument can come. So according to the teaching of the Buddha, that argument is not correct. So what is it that we call a core here, or substance or essence? In the commentary, it is stated that it is something wrongly conceived as a self or a permanent entity. That is what we call core here. So it is conceived as some permanent entity that abides in our bodies, in the bodies of beings, and that permanent entity lives forever. When a person's body becomes old and dies, and then it transfers itself to another new body and so on. Also, a core means a doer, karaka. That is someone who performs that action. Although we think that we are doing the action, according to that opinion, it is the atta self that is doing the actions and not us. So atta performs the action, and we are just the instrument. Also, whenever we experience happiness or suffering, it is not us that experience these happiness and suffering, but the atta that experience these, and we are just the instrument in atta experiencing happiness or suffering. Also, that atta is its own master. One who is his own master is the most important part of the things, so it is called a core. Now, rupa is not a core means rupa is not any one of these. Rupa is not self. Rupa is not a soul. Rupa is not the abider or dweller, nivasi. Or rupa is not the one who lives in the body for all time. Rupa is not a doer. Rupa is not an experiencer. Rupa is not one which is its own master. So when we understand in that way, we are said to understand the anatta nature of things. How do we know that rupa or corporality is not self, not an abider, not a doer, not an experiencer, and not the one who is its own master? The explanation given in the commentaries is that, first, we understand that corporality or body is impermanent, and so body is suffering. These two, impermanence and suffering, we have understood. If body is impermanent and it is suffering, then it must have no core, body must have no substance in it. Because body cannot prevent itself from being impermanent and from being suffering. So this is the argument taught in the commentaries. What is impermanent and what is suffering cannot even prevent its own impermanence and being suffering. So how could it have the state of a doer or an experiencer and so on? That means something that is impermanent cannot change itself into a permanent thing. Something that is suffering cannot change itself into happiness. If it cannot prevent itself from becoming impermanent and suffering, how can it be a master? How can it be a doer? How can it be an experiencer? So what is impermanent and what is suffering actually is anatta, in the sense of having no core or in the sense of being insubstantial. So late Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw explained 4 kinds of atta clinging. Number 1 is Sami. Sami is a master. Sami atta clinging. Believing that there is inside his body a living entity who governs and directs every wish and action. It is this living soul which goes, stands up, sits down, sleeps, speaks whenever it's wished to. So if you believe that living entity in your body, controlling and directing as it wish, that is Sami atta clinging. Sami means master or owner. So this Anattalakkhana Sutta was taught by the Buddha, particularly to remove this Sami atta clinging. Now, as this sutta was first taught to the 5 monks who had become a stream enterer, so Sotapanna stream enterer has abandoned atta clinging. They have no self-clinging. When you become Sotapanna, 3 factors, 3 sanyojana, Sakaya Deity, self-illusion, Vijikaja, doubt in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and practice Silabara Pramasa, practice as a belief in wrong habits and practice as a way of purification. These 3 factors have been completely abandoned. But Sotapanna is not yet free from conceit. Sotapanna, string enterer, is not yet free from asmimana, the I conceit, to take pride in his ability, to take pride in his status. I can do, I am noble person, is to hold on to the I conceit. But the string enterer's conceit relates only to the genuine qualities and virtues he or she actually possesses, and is not false pride based on non-existing qualities and virtues. So Sotapanna has to continue on with the practice of Vipassana meditation in order to remove the I conceit clinging, which is stay a fetter for him or her. So when Vipassana insight knowledge is considerably developed, this I conceit becomes weakened and is partially removed when he became anagami, but it is not completely abolished yet. He continued practice and the anagami path weakens it, but this anagami could effect only partial removal. Only when you become arahant, arhata mega, that could totally eradicate conceit, eradicate the I conceit. So it could be regarded that the Anattalakkhana Sutta was taught by the Buddha in order to bring about total eradication of the I conceit clinging, which was still lingering in the person of the 5 monks, although they had attained the stage of stream enterer, Sotapannahood. Another clinging is Nivasi Atta clinging. Nivasi means dweller or abider. That is believing that there is a living entity permanently residing in your body. Do you believe a living entity permanently residing in your body? So that is Nivasi Atta clinging. If you believe living entity permanently residing in your body. And people believe that they exist permanently as a living being. From the moment of birth to the time of death. There is Nivasi Atta clinging. Some people hold that nothing remains after death. It is wrong. This wrong view of annihilism, Ocheta Deity. Yet other people believe in the wrong view of eternalism, They hold that the living entity in their body remains undestroyed after death. It continues to reside in a new body, in a new existence. So it was with the view to remove these two wrong views, together with the conceit, I conceit, clinging, that the Anattalakkhana Sutta was taught by the Buddha. That is to say, to eradicate I conceit, clinging, which still remains fettering the 5 monks and other noble ones, and to remove wrong views as well as the conceit of the ordinary common worldlings. Buddha taught this Anattalakkhana Sutta. So long as you cling to the belief that there exists permanently a living entity or a soul, so long you would hold that your body is under your control as you wish. So we have to understand that the Anattalakkhana Sutta was delivered to remove not only Samyata clinging, but also Nivasi Atta clinging. And once you remove the Samyata clinging, other types of clinging and wrong views are simultaneously eradicated completely. And Masi Sierra mentioned another clinging is Karaka Atta clinging, believing that it is the living entity or the soul that perform every physical, verbal, and mental action. Do you believe in a living entity perform every physical, verbal, and mental actions? So that is Karaka Atta clinging. So this Karaka Atta clinging is more concerned with Sankhara Khanda, the aggregates of volitional activities. Another one is Vedaka Atta clinging. Do you believe that every feeling, whether pleasant or unpleasant, is felt by the living entity? Every feeling is felt by self. That is Vedaka Atta clinging. So the Vedaka Atta clinging is concerned with the Vedanakanda, the aggregates of feelings. So the Rupakanda, the aggregates of materiality, is not self nor a living entity. Anatta, which has been adequately expounded, but it still requires to explain how meditators engage in the practice of meditation come to perceive the true nature of anatta. no self. So now you are practicing meditation 2 months according to the Anattalakkhana Sutta. Vipassana meditation means observing every phenomena occurring at the six senses. If you can observe every phenomena, your meditation will be accomplished. So Vipassana meditation consists of contemplating on the Upadana Khanda, the groups of grasping, which manifest themselves at the moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking. We need to observe every phenomena. However, it is not easy to take note of each and every phenomenon of seeing, hearing, etc. So we have to start our practice with only a few of the most prominent objects of sensation. Now we are sitting, we can concentrate on the sitting, the nature of stiffness and resistance felt in our body, and note sitting, sitting, sitting. Concentrate on the sitting. You can feel the stiffness and resistance. But if the yogi feels that it is too simple, requiring not much effort to just keep on noting sitting, sitting, yogi can combine it with noting of another phenomenon, touching. So you note sitting, touching, sitting, touching. Buddha said, Nisino one, Nisino miti pajanati. When you sit, you have to know sitting, sitting. So Vipassana, Satipatthana, Vipassana meditation encouraged to note every sitting, every sitting. But the movements of rising and falling of the abdomen will be more pronounced. So if you heedfully note rising, when the abdomen rises, and you note falling, when the abdomen falls, rising, falling, rising, falling. A yogi will come to see distantly the phenomena of stiffening, resisting, relaxing, moving, which are happening inside your abdomen. So these are the characteristic function and manifestation of the Vayodhatu, the elements of motion. So such contemplation and noting is in accordance with Visuddhimagga, which state that the nature of Namarupa, psychophysical phenomena, should be comprehended by observing its characteristic, function, manifestation, and so on. So yogi can start with observing the rising and falling of the abdomen. But this exercise of noting the rising and falling alone does not complete all that is to be done in your practice of meditation. You need to be aware everything, every physical behavior, and while noting the rising and falling of the abdomen, any thoughts that may occur, that thoughts have to be noted. Thinking, planning, imagining, every thoughts, every mental state have to be captured. And when feeling stiff, hot, cold, or pain, yogi have to note these sensations as they arise. Every sensation have to be noted. When you bend or stretch your arms or legs, these movements should also be noted. As you rise from the sitting position, the change of posture should be accompanied by heedful noting. And walking meditation, while walking, every movement involved in each step has to be noted. Raising, pushing forward, dropping, pressing, etc. If possible, all physical activities, including even the opening and shutting of your eyelids, should come under close observation. When there is nothing in particular to take note of, your attention should revert to the rising and falling movements of the abdomen. That is your home. If there is nothing to note, go back to your home, rise and fall. So that is the brief description of practice involved in the practice of Satipatthana meditation. Why does occupy in taking note of rising, falling, sitting, touching as they occur? The desire arises in the yogi to change postures in order to release the pain, the aches, and sensation of hotness which are developing moment by moment in your bended arms and legs. So yogi should take note of these wishes as they arise, but should remain still without immediately yielding to your temptation to stretch your limbs. Yogi should tolerate with these discomforts as long as you can. But if desire to stretch your arms and legs arise once again, yogi should first take note of them as before without changing postures. Only when yogi unbearably distressed with pain and aches, you should slowly stretch out your arms and legs, at the same time noting these actions carefully as stretching, stretching, stretching. During each session of meditation practice, frequent change of postures becomes necessary due to discomforting pains and aches. With repeated adjustment of postures, the oppressive nature of the physical body becomes apparent. Despite your inclination to remain still, quietly seated, without changing position for 1 or 2 hours, it becomes evident to the yogi that you cannot remain so as you wish. So there is realization. This realization comes to yogi that rupa, which is constantly oppressing him or her, afflicting him, that rupa is not safe, or soul, nor living entity, but mere physical phenomenon that is occurring in accordance with its own condition. This realization is knowledge of contemplation of non-self. Yogi cannot remain very long either seated, lying down or standing. So realization comes to that body never oblige you, body never give favor to you. What you wish, and this body is unmanageable. Being uncontrollable, this body is not safe, nor inner substance, but mere physical phenomenon that is occurring in accordance with its own condition. This realization is also the knowledge of contemplation of non-self, anatta. Again, being repeatedly disturbed by having to answer the calls of nature every hour while engaged in meditation, in sitting or lying postures or midnight, it becomes apparent that rupa, body, is oppressive and it is unmanageable. It's not under your control, your will, and is unmanageable. It is not safe. While contemplating on the behavior of rupa, its true oppressive nature becomes exposed. When bodily filth such as mucus, saliva, phlegm, tears, sweat, etc. ooze out from the body. In the Dhamma hall, very quiet, and you don't want to make any noise, but throat itchy, and coughing, cough, 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 body cannot be controlled. This mucus come out, have to clean. Cleanliness cannot be maintained as you desire because of this uncontrollable nature of this body, which is therefore obviously anatta. In addition, rupa oppressed by inflicting hunger, take breakfast and lunch, drink water, is inflicting hunger, thirst, aging, and disease on us. These afflictions are evident truths even to a casual observer. But there is a view of self persisting in one who observes just casually. It is only by noting heedfully that Rupa is exposed not to be self nor a living entity, but mere physical phenomenon which is happening continuously. So these are just a few examples to indicate the anatta nature of Rupa. Yogi are actually taking note of every phenomena, and you come to experience many more the oppressive nature of the Rupa and make it clear how it is not under your will and how it is not self being unmanageable. So in the course of heedfully noting all the bodily actions such as rising, falling, bending, stretching and perceiving, Yogi realize how Rupa afflict you and how body is unmanageable, ungovernable. The realization arises in Yogi through your personal knowledge. Although Rupa in my body appears to be self, since body oppresses me, it is not myself, nor my inner core, because it is not under my wish and unmanageable. This body is not self, not my inner core. I have been all along in error to take my body to be myself, my inner substance. This body is really not self. Body is unmanageable and not subject to my will. So this is the true knowledge of contemplating on non-self anatta. So remember Buddha said Rupa. Rupa is not self, not inner substance. If Rupa was self, it would not lead to affliction. And it would be possible to manage your Rupa, let my body be thus in the best of condition, let my body not be thus in the worst of condition. And Buddha said, in reality, body is not self, and because it is not self, it tends to affliction, and it is not possible to say, it is not possible to manage this Rupa. Let my body be thus in the best of condition, let my body not be thus in the worst of condition. So regarding body, Buddha said, Rupa is not self, Rupa anatta. So we'll continue next time. We have to stop our discourse for today by practicing vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the six senses. May you comprehend, may you perceive the five khandhas, anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanent suffering and non-self. By practicing rising, falling, sitting, touching, seeing, hearing continuously and meticulously, may all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future. So,